Hello ladies and gentlemen, what is going down? What is going on? So today's video, 250 versus 350, 1 ton versus 3/4 ton. The age-old debate, what to buy, what's the differences? Everyone thinks that they're like a completely different truck. I'm going to tell you what's different on them, and it's not much, but there's not much different on them, but there's a lot of difference that you can do with one versus the other. So let's just dive right into it. So here is a 2017 F250 with the 6.7 Power Stroke turbo diesel engine. I've had this for about 2 years now. It's got 65,000 miles on it, maintenance free, still original brakes, everything. This is a 2019 F350 6.7 liter Power Stroke. Both of these have the Power Stroke engines. There's no sense in me popping the hoods. There is differences. Nothing to do with the class of this truck versus the class of this truck. The only difference is this truck is 2 years newer. So this truck has 925 foot-pound of torque, 440 horsepower. This truck has 935 foot-pound of torque, 450 horsepower. It has nothing to do with 250, 350 differences. That is the one thing about the Fords and the Chevs that I like. No matter if you get the 250 or 2500 or 3500, you get the same engine, same transmission. So you have the capability right there in both trucks no matter what. Some guys like that the Ram does the the standard output and the high output because of daily driving and stuff. The Ison is a bit rougher transmission. I think that's one of the main reasons why. It's a great transmission, but it does shift a bit rougher. So just walking around the truck, they look the same. The cabs are the same. Take my word for it. This is a work truck, so it's full of tools in the back. So the seats are folded up, but the cab is the same in both. The cab is actually the same in the 150 right up to the 550. The same dimensions, exact same cab. Few changes here and there like the dash and stuff like that, but same cab, same dimensions. So no differences there at all. The length is the same. This is the 6 3/4 box, the short box they call it in the Super Duties. The box is the same. So the truck length is the same. The truck dimensions is the same. The cabs are the same. The engine's the same. The transmission's the same. So where is the differences, guys? Where is the differences? Well, the difference in these trucks is right here. The rear axle and the suspension setup. That is the only difference in these trucks. I'm going to show you the axle right now. I'm not going to get into all of the specifics, but this axle is a 3.5 diameter axle. The axle on the 350 is a 4-inch diameter axle. So that is the difference in the axles. Heavier, larger axle to increase your payload. We're going to get into payload in a second. The other difference is the spring setup, the suspension setup. So count them. You got your little spring here, 1, 2, 3, your overload. And there's a block in between these. It gives you the extra bit of height. Let's come over to the 250. No top spring, no block, 1, 2 helper. That's it. This truck does have airbags for that reason. So there's the difference. I'm actually going to go down after a little bit here, and I'm going to hook up a trailer that I have in the yard to both of these, and we'll see how much they squat. Alright, so you see the differences. Alright, so what does that mean? Okay, this truck has an 11,500 pound GVW. This truck has a 9,900 pound GVW. So let's look at payload numbers. So in the 250, the front axle, 5,990 pounds, 6,000 pound front axle rating basically. The rear axle, 6,340, 9,900 pound GVW. So let's go over to the 350. So 350, 5990 front axle, identical. Rear axle 7230, 7,230 pounds in the rear, 11.5 GVW. So there's the differences. There's the difference. Now let's look at payload. This truck is an XLT. That truck is a Lariat Ultimate. So that truck has, you know, power deploying running boards, leather interior, the moon roof, all that stuff adds to the weight of the truck. And I'm going to show you the truck weights in a second, but that adds to the weights of the truck. So let's look at the payload. 3,623 pounds from factory. So 3,623 pounds on the 350 payload from factory. Let's look at the payload on this truck. And here's where it starts to really get serious. 1,886 pounds is what the payload is on this truck. Not much. So let's talk about that for a second. But first, let's look at the truck weights. So here, I've already done the calculations of the GVW subtracted by the payload to give you the truck weights. 8,014 pounds. 7,877 pounds. This is the 250. This is the 350. So the 350 is actually lighter. A lot of people say that the 350 is a heavier truck. The only thing heavier is the axle and the rear axle and the suspension. This truck is heavier because of it's a more loaded up truck. So let's talk about payload for a second. Let's say, so that weight is you know, that weight is empty. So let's talk about payload. So let's say you have a family of 4, mother, father, kids. Let's just say their weight adds up to 400 pounds. So there's 400 pounds subtracted by that 1,800. So now your payload is at 1,400. You're going camping. You have a 10,000 pound trailer, which is a pretty average trailer for one of these trucks. 10,000 pound camper trailer. If you have, you know, 15% tongue weight, because let's just split the middle between 10 and 20% tongue weight. So 15% tongue weight on that trailer is 1,500 pounds. You're already over your payload. You've already exceeded your payload. So that's that scenario. That's the, you know, the scenario of the family thing. So let's say you have this truck for work. I've put a plow on this truck. That's a couple hundred pounds, the plow gear. So now I'm at 1,600 pounds payload. So I put a toolbox on the back. Tools weigh quite a bit. Let's say the toolbox weighs 400 pounds, 300 pounds. I'll just say 300. So there goes 500 pounds right off the get-go. So now I'm down to 1,300 pounds. And then I hook up a dump trailer to this thing. I'm over my payload. So payload adds up very, very, very quickly. So you really need to know what you're going to be using your truck for. When I bought this truck, I did not have my gooseneck trailer. So I wasn't planning on towing crazy weights, and usually I'm working by myself anyway. So I don't have a bunch of people in the truck with me and I'm pulling the camper around. So I can actually load this truck up fairly heavy and, you know, like with a trailer, and I won't be over my payload. But I didn't have the gooseneck trailer. So when I bought it, I didn't plan on towing, you know, 18, 19, 20,000 pounds or more. So I bought the 250 because the ride quality is a little bit better, and that's just what I needed at the time. I didn't need the 350, but honestly, I'm regretting it now. It's a big reason why this truck is going to be getting traded in for a 3,500 or 350 is because of that payload number. This truck has double the payload is what this truck does. I know that this is not as loaded up as this truck, but even so, if this truck was loaded up, it would still be a crazy amount of difference in payload. So you need to understand what you want, what you need, guys. So there's, you know, there's the payload part of it, and that is a big thing if you're hauling a camper, if you're using your truck for work, if you're towing a gooseneck, if you're, you know, like I said, you got toolboxes on the back, and then you're hooking up to a dump trailer or something on a regular basis, and you're gonna get pulled into the scales eventually, and you are gonna be surprised that you're over your payload. So 250, 350, 100%, this is the way to go if you're questioning what's up. But I am going to take these trucks just for a little drive, just to show that the drive quality is a bit better in the 250, but it's not that much. It really is not that much. But now we're going to run down. I'm going to hook up a trailer, an enclosed trailer that's got an ATV and a couple generators in it. It's not a heavy amount of weight, but there's a lot of weight at the front, which I'll show you. And we'll see just how much each truck squats with comparison to each other. So just wanted to show you that there is only 5 pounds of air in the bags, and that's as low as I can go. So let's check this thing out. So first, let's look what we got here. So we got this trailer, which has a GVW of 7,000 pounds, and our payload is 4,820 pounds. So our trailer weighs the trailer weighs 2,180 pounds, if my math is correct. So 2,180 pounds is just the trailer weight. All right, and now let's see what we got. We have a Can-Am ATV. It is an 800. It's a 2-up. I'm not sure how much this thing weighs. I'm gonna say 700, 800 pounds. And we got these 2 generators up here that have fuel in the jugs. No, they're not full. Each one of these generators, I'm just gonna say they weigh 300 pounds with the fuel in them. They're heavy. Trust me, they're big, they're heavy. So 600 pounds. It's a lot of tongue weight because this weight is all at the front. So 600, I don't know, another say 800. So we're at 1,400 pounds plus our 21. So you know we're at 30. Let's just say 3,600 pounds. All right, so 3,600 pounds. But again, there is a lot of tongue weight. So let's grab a measuring tape here. Right through the down to the ground, right through the hub. We're at 44 and a half. 44 and a half to the wheel well. Okay, so let's drop this thing down. Take the weight off it and let's see what we got. Guys, the weight is off. You can see the air there. I think we're at 44 and a half when we started. So now down, up through, we're at 43 and a half. So we dropped an inch. So we dropped an inch on the 250 with the trailer on. So 1 inch drop, 250. Now let's pull the 350 over and see what happens. Okay, so we got the 350 over here now. There's no weight on the truck yet at all, as you can see. So let's take a measurement. Okay, so right up through, we're at 45. So this is actually, the way it sits right now is a ½ inch higher than what the 250 was with no weight on it. So we're at 45. So let's drop this thing down. All right, so we are on the ball. There's no weight on the block. So we were at 45 before. Down, right straight up through. 43 and a half. 43 and a half. So this is telling me that this truck actually dropped an inch and a half, and the 250 only dropped an inch. So the only thing I'm thinking is, even with the airbags down to 5 pounds, there still must be enough air in those airbags that's not allowing the truck to sag. I'm not really sure what happened here. The trailer definitely came back. So maybe I'm not getting an accurate reading, but this is telling me that this actually dropped a ½ an inch further than what the 250 did, which doesn't make any sense at all, because I can tell you from using my dump trailer, if I haul this load, if I haul with this truck and then haul with that truck with no air in the airbags, that truck definitely sags more. But right here in this instance, this truck actually sagged more. So I'm sure if I pulled ahead and settled out the suspension, that we get a different reading, and this reading would be incorrect, but this is what we got. So for now, I'm going to unhook this, and I'm going to take both these trucks just for a little drive, take it on the highway for a second, hit a few bumps, and just let you know what I think. So we are in the 350 right now. I think this truck drives extremely good for a 1-ton truck. I think it drives extremely good for, you know, a 3500 350 series truck. The ride is, you know, it handles really well. The steering's nice. It handles the bumps, in my mind, exceptional, you know, to have that much payload as well. We're actually going to hit some bumps coming up here right now on an old overpass here. Obviously loads of power, both these trucks. Okay, here's some bumps. There's tools in the back of this truck that are rattling around a little bit, but that was not very eventful, and that's what you want. Not much going on there at all. Not much going on. I should mention, you know, another thing, that there is a toolbox on the back of this with quite a bit of weight in the back of it. So that is going to, you know, help the ride a bit, but it's going to hurt that sort of test that we just did back there as well. We'll just get up to speed. Both of these trucks have 355 gear ratio, so they have the exact same gear ratio. I'm not going to do an MPG test because the speedometer on this is actually off, because this truck has, both trucks have 35-inch tires, but this truck had a smaller tire from factory than what the 250 did. So both trucks have 35-inch tires on them. This is an 18-inch wheel. The 250 is a 20-inch wheel. And that has nothing to do with the 250 itself. It has to do with, again, the trim of the truck. So I really wanted to do a bit of an acceleration, but we got this old Ram in front of us. All right, let's get up to speed. Obviously loads of power. All these modern day diesels have so much power, so much torque. It's unreal with basically zero turbo lag. It's pretty incredible. So here we are cruising down the highway. You know, you really couldn't be more comfortable. The truck drives awesome. Like, the truck drives amazing. The tires are getting a bit noisy because they're getting worn down a bit, but other than that, road noise, not much at all. Truck drives straight down the road. It really, you know, it can't really be any better. So from a drive, like an everyday drive standpoint, this truck is a little bit rougher than 250 because of the suspension. I mean, there's no way around that. Other than, you know, for this instance, you got a toolbox in the back, or you're hauling a trailer or a camper. That bit of weight on the back added to that back axle smoothens out the ride completely. But if you're driving around empty, it's not rough. You're not bouncing all over the road like the old days, that's for sure. They've come such a long way. Get off the exit here. We're gonna snap back, get the 250, go for the same little drive, and I'll tell you sort of my final thoughts of what you should do depending on your circumstance. So one reason why a lot of people don't get a 350 or a 3500 truck instead of a 2500 truck or 250 is because of, you know, registration weights and what comes with that. So I don't know what it is in where everyone else is watching, but here in Nova Scotia, you know, you can basically register the weight for whatever you want. So this truck is 11,500 pound GVW. And here in Nova Scotia, as soon as you go over 11,000 pounds registration weight, you have to register your vehicle. You know, if it's owned by a company, it has to be registered commercial. So you have to have a commercial plate on the front. More susceptible to getting pulled into the scales and you know, things like that. I don't have this truck registered for commercial. If I was hooking up to the gooseneck all the time, then yes, you know what, absolutely I would, because that's an extra 500 pounds of payload that I'm losing by not doing that. But in my situation, that 500 pounds is not gonna kill me. I still have payload left. So that is a reason why a lot of people, you know, go towards a 3/4 ton. But I assume that where you guys are, it's the same sort of scenario, but here where I am, that's the way it works. So you can still buy these trucks and you still gain 1,000 pounds of payload right there, which when you're towing a trailer, if you think of 15% ton weight, that's a lot of extra trailer you can have behind you to add up to that 1,000 pounds. That's a lot. So anyway, just thought I'd throw that in there as well. All right, so now we are in the 250, and it's a nicer place to be. There's no doubt about that, but it's just because of the trim. Like this is a nice trim. Close that sunroof. That's part of the nice trim. Anyway, so we're in the 250. You really can't tell a whole lot as far as handling wise goes. Both trucks handle basically the same. There's there's really no difference there at all. We're gonna hit these same bumps that we hit in the 350, and you know, I'll let you know what I think. So here they come. All right, so yes, there is a difference. Here's a few more. Yeah, so there is, like, this truck definitely does drive a bit smoother than the 350. It does. Like, there's no argument there. But is it enough to sacrifice all that payload? I don't think so at all. But we're gonna get on the highway just like we did before, do a bit of acceleration, just cruise down the highway, and when I get back, I'm sort of gonna give you my closing thoughts and let you know what I think. All right, highway. Yeah. These trucks certainly get up and go pretty fast. If this truck was a 350, I know the new trucks are coming out with the 10-speed and all that's great, and you know, I definitely want to try one. But if this truck was a 350, I would absolutely be keeping this truck and deleting it and tuning it. There is no doubt about that. These trucks have so much power from factory. It's unbelievable what they produce when you take all that crap off them. Anyway, so here we are, cruising down the highway. It's great. Just like the 350, it's great. You can sit behind the wheel of one of these trucks for a very, very, very long time, a very long road trip, and be extremely, extremely comfortable. But anyway, let's get back to the house. I'll give you my sort of closing thoughts, and hopefully it helps you. If it doesn't help you, sorry. But I think it's definitely information that people will want to know. Alright guys, so closing thoughts. If you're on the fence of what you need, or will I be okay, will I not be okay, or you're on the fence because you think the ride quality in the 350 is so bad, get the 350. Get the 350. Absolutely. You are gonna chew through your payload a lot faster than what you think, and the ride quality is not that much of a difference. So I wish I would have got the 350 right off the get-go, and then it would have been done and over with, but anyway, that's here nor there. But I hope this video helps you guys out. The 250 is great, you know, if you're job site to job site, or you just, you know, it's your family vehicle, but you occasionally tow a trailer, because they don't really bother you guys too much anyway, to be honest. The DOT guys, they don't really bother people on the road with campers and stuff. They bother guys like me hauling equipment, and that really bugs me. We won't get into that, but anyway guys, that's it for now. Thanks for watching. Again, I hope this helped. If you liked the video, please like, subscribe. I'm going to be doing, you know, a towing comparison between the two, you know, with the 250, 350 towing, you know, somewhere around 12,000 pounds, something like that. Good weight for both of them. Give you my thoughts on that. But for now, guys, that's it. Take care, stay safe, see you next time. Bye.